Hey everyone, welcome back to Allie's Corner. I know it's been a while since I posted anything on the podcast, and this week or this time we are going to talk about more toxicity in the fandom when it comes to certain fandoms, because last time I posted back in January was specifically about toxicity in the fandom. We're going to focus on specific fandoms, and it's fandom that I've been a part of, and I've seen this on social media, and the toxicity doesn't just carry over through social media. The toxicity actually happens and carries on in real life, like in everyday, day-to-day contact with people. It can also carry over into things like cons, which is kind of crazy to actually see and hear, or actually to experience. So let's talk about it. This time we're going to start with Sebastian Stan, and a little, kind of background about that. I've been a very avid Sebastian Stan fan since about 2006. Goes back to the Covenant, which he kind of shrugs and covers his face whenever he hears it. But I've been a very avid fan since 2006, all the way and up through. And then when he broke into Marvel, it's kind of, his fandom has kind of gotten a little bit crazy. So this starts around 2018. We're going to start there because the toxicity in the fandom grew in 2018 and kind of progressively got worse. Sebastian used to post a lot on his Instagram, and it wasn't PR stuff. Like, he ran his own Instagram. He would respond to fans. He would, make fans' days by reposting their story, like their post as his stories. When stories came out, he would do a bunch of things where he would just be really hyped and actually comment on their posts. He was really heavily into fandom stuff, where he paid attention to what fan posted. He allowed people to tag him. He allowed people to go in, and he would respond to those posts. In 2018, that started to kind of hit the fan, and like shit hit the fan. And it's not in a good way. Sebastian started to post less and less to fans within 2018 to his Instagram account. Mind you, Sebastian did not have a Twitter account, so he wasn't on Twitter at that point. He was strictly on Instagram, and he was talking to fans. The toxicity happened when people started to dox his address, and people were doxing him on Twitter, places where he was not at. They doxed his home in New York City. He was being doxed where he was being at, like hotel-wise, things of that nature, because you have fans that stalk. And it's not like paparazzi are doxing him. Like, let's get this straight, right? So PR-wise, you have people in the industry, and you have places like Backrid where you can sell photos, or you can hire them to come and take staged photos that celebrities do sometimes for publicity. Or you have certain celebrities that are really in good with paparazzo and will kind of do that. This is not the case. This was a fan that found his address and posted it. The full address, posted it. So he calls, and everybody knows that he calls New York City his home, right? Everybody knows it's like a drop in a bucket when you live in New York City on how many celebrities actually live there. I've grown up on the East Coast. I've grown up in a city where it is a drop in a bucket. You can run across celebrities like no tomorrow. I've also worked in music journalism, so I know quite a bit about the PR aspect. I know quite a bit about privacy. I know quite a bit about a lot of it. And I think that's where fans don't understand. Celebrities don't owe us anything. That includes Sebastian's fans. He doesn't owe us shit as fans. He doesn't owe us anything. He's a human. We should not be putting him on a pedestal as a celebrity. We should be treating him as he is a peer, especially if we are around the same age as this man. Sebastian is only about 5-6 years older than I am. So that man is on the same level as I am. He is a peer. Like, realistically, in the world of society, he is a peer to me. So when meeting that man, I treated him as such. I didn't treat him as anything less than fucking human. Other fans, though, don't treat him as such. They put him on such a high pedestal that people will go bankrupt Let me say that again. People will go bankrupt or into thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars of debt to be able to meet their celebrity, right? Their celebrity crush, they're huge celebrity fans of. That's toxic. That's not healthy. And that comes with self-awareness and self-management, which I have episodes back on emotional intelligence, how to manage yourself, how to be very self-aware, how to internally reflect. It comes down to making sure that that doesn't happen, right? So in 2018, Sebastian started posting less and less on his social media account. He started dating, he's dating people in the industry, and that changed, right? So when he's dating one person, then dating another person, then dating another person. When you happen to have a long-term relationship and that ends, and then you enter back into the dating pool, especially as a celebrity, your relationships are under a fucking microscope because everybody thinks they deserve to know who you're dating, who's in your sex life. Nobody needs to know that shit except for maybe close family and friends and you, and your partner. Your fans don't need to know who you're dating, for one. If you want to have a private, relationship and a private life outside of your persona, that's great. That's fine. And Sebastian wanted to do that, right? He wanted to have a private life, and he posted some public stuff, like his private stuff. Sometimes he posted on his Instagram to let the fans know what was going on because he cared so much about the fans and he didn't want to disappoint the fans. Fans took advantage of that. Some fan accounts took advantage of that, but mostly regular fans took advantage of that. Which ultimately hurt the entire fandom as a whole. So he starts dating, and then people go in and search. Mind you, a lot of the people that this man has dated have private social media accounts. Whether, I'm not talking Instagram or maybe Twitter, but I'm talking Facebook. Their Facebook accounts are private. And fans were pretending to be family members to get added to their private Facebook accounts, or getting added to maybe his friends' private Facebook accounts or his family's private Facebook accounts, which is sleazy. It's trash. I'm sorry, but it's trash. Do not impersonate a family member of anybody any celebrity is dating. Do not impersonate a friend of any celebrity for one, or their family member, or anybody that they're dating's friends, family, whatever, to get into there, to get information, to blast it on social media, because that is another form of doxing. You don't have to dox their address, but you can dox what is on a private social media account. That is another form of doxing. That's also a form of internet bullying. So for one, they did that, which cost him relationships. It caused a lot of hell in his life, because you have this person that he's in even if it's a casual dating relationship, right? He's in a relationship with, getting hate via their Instagram, via their Twitter, sometimes via their Facebook accounts. So what? Because you have not emotionally mature enough fans, and I'm going to say it that way, not emotionally mature enough fans that are trying to be like, but he deserves to be with me. No, bros, just FYI, celebrities get to, or not even celebrities, people get to date whoever the fuck they want to date. They don't have to reserve themselves for you. You're not entitled to dating them. You're not entitled to their fucking life. You're not entitled to anyone's life. You're not entitled to a relationship with anyone. You're not entitled to be their friend. Okay? You're not even entitled to meeting them at a convention. Let me just say that. You are not entitled to meeting them at a convention. Even though you bought the ticket and you bought all of that stuff, you are not entitled to meeting them at a convention. Entitlement ruins fandoms. So because these fans have the entitlement and lack self-awareness, and they lack self-management because they are not emotionally intelligent enough to self-manage in social settings, including on social media, because they have not been taught to emotionally regulate or self-manage their emotions because they don't know how they feel, and their amygdala is going based on what they know, which a lot of times is trauma responses, because these fans are growing up in situations where they are going to trauma dump on people, where it's going to be, and I'm not saying that's a horrible thing. What I'm saying is that they are not getting the proper help that they need to deal with how to emotionally regulate, because they're not being taught it at a young age. Fans were either neglected emotionally, which is a mental health issue at this point, and they need to seek help for that mental health issue, whether it's finding self-help to help that and figuring out how to self-regulate on their own, or going out and seeking therapy and I know in America, and I'm going to say this, I know in America, it's shit. Like, I get it. I live in America. And I know, like, the healthcare system is for profit. Like, I get that. However, there are videos on how to learn how to self-regulate emotions via places like YouTube. There are places that will offer free sessions to people that may not be able to afford it. There are employers that you may work at that may offer free mental health sessions. Like, if you work at one of those places, take advantage of the benefits, please. Because the reason being that we have such toxicity is because people do not know how to self-manage or self-regulate, or they're not even aware of what they're feeling with their own emotions. Or if they are self-aware, they don't give a shit because they don't want to self-manage, because they think they're entitled to something that they're not entitled to. So Sebastian's dating, right? Going through, the person he's dating is getting a bunch of hate on social media. They don't last. His personal assistant, who, by the way, lovely person when I met them. I met Sebastian in 2018. I met him at a con. Great experience. Loved meeting the man. That was one of the best experiences at a con that I've had since going to cons. And I was privileged enough, and I will say privileged enough because I did make a really good amount of money at the job that I've been working at for the last 11 years, to be able to afford VIP and to be able to afford multiple autographs and multiple photo ops and things of that nature. Yes, I go to cons, and yes, I do buy multiple autographs and maybe multiple photo ops and things of that nature, but that's my money and that's my disposable income, and I can do what I want. But the other piece of that is, like, that was a great experience, and wanted to meet him for the first time after being a fan. Such a great experience. Personal assistant, amazing. His personal assistant on private Facebook page, private Facebook account, somebody pretended to be a friend or a family member of hers, and posted stuff that happened like 13 years prior. And that was like, I want to say 2019, or so between 2018 until now. And kept spamming him, tagging his shit on Instagram, tagging his shit, to the point that they ended up firing his personal assistant that he's worked with for decades. Like, just fired. He was friends with his personal assistant, all of this stuff, because the celebrity we know as Sebastian Stan is let's say this. So we know Sebastian Stan as the actor. That is one facet of that person, of that man. It is not who that person actually is outside of necessarily celebrity. He's a sweet person. He's a sweet, amazing human, and he does really well for his co-stars and things of that nature. Everybody that's worked with him has said nothing but amazing things. However, that is the celebrity and actor mask and co-worker mask. That is not Sebastian Stan, the human outside of all of this shit. Which I think people don't seem to realize there's a difference. And it goes for a lot of fandoms. It's not just like the fandoms that I'm talking about. I'm talking about actors in general. They have different sides of them, different facets that most people don't get to see. I can tell you that when y'all see my social media stuff, or when y'all see me talking to you here, or videos of me, things of that nature, it's not the same facet and same side that my coworkers see, or the same side that my friends see outside of work. You get a curated version of me. Y'all don't get you get the real me. I'm always genuine, I'm always honest and truthful, but it's a more curated version of me versus the fully unfiltered version. I will always be blunt, truthful, and honest, because that's who I am as a human, but it can be a little bit more filtered down through social media and things of that nature, because I know the impact of social media as someone that grew up using social media from the time I was in high school through the time up till now. Someone that's used it for work, through music journalism and through, networking and things of that nature. I also try to build genuine relationships with people, which even outside of work is things that I do. So I ask random questions and things of that nature. I do that very often. And so as a human, I'm multifaceted. I am not what you see is what you get on social media. And you have to remember, a lot of people are like that. A lot of people curate their social media to be happy and to be like, this is me, but this is the happy version of me. This is what I want my life to be. Celebrities can be that way as well, especially when they're working with a PR team. Public relations is huge, especially with publicity, especially with things. Sometimes their publicists are the ones that run their social media account. Sebastian ran his social media account. And he runs it still. He just doesn't log in and talk to fans anymore because he's had relationships end because of social media. He's had his work relationships end because of social media. It's become really toxic, and it's really bad for his mental health, because he's come out and said it in interviews where he used to be on social media all the time, and then he saw all the hate and all the shit that was happening, and he's taken a step back. Fans get fucking crazy. I'm going to say it that way because fans do. Fans get fucking crazy. Fans stalk. Fans don't know boundaries. Fans think they are entitled to them as a human being, and think they're entitled to meeting them. So fans will stalk what city they're in. So for example, if Sebastian was in, Vancouver, British Columbia, fans would stalk where he was in British Columbia, especially if he's filming, to find out where he was staying so they could accidentally run into him at his fucking hotel. That is sick. That is a intervention that needs to happen for mental health, because obsessing over someone to the point that you are stalking them, what their parents' addresses are, if anybody in their family has passed, where their gravesite is, or you don't even know where they fucking live. And you're like, I'm going to camp out outside their house until I can meet them because I'm going to be in that city. That is sick. That is not healthy. That is obsession to the point that it needs to have an intervention at some point, and you need to go seek help for it. And that is coming from someone that has watched a lot of documentaries on stalkers and fans and true crime documentaries. I also grew up in a family that had a lot to do in the police force. So I grew up a lot with that. I also have grown up taking classes in law and things of that nature. So you can see that, right? You can see a lot of that in a lot of the fandoms, and it gets to the point that these fans, because they think they're so entitled, they don't care. It can turn deadly. It hasn't for Sebastian Stan. He has put clear boundaries up. He has stepped back from social media. He doesn't post as much to fans. He used to post happy birthday when they asked. He used to literally, people would be like, can you post happy birthday to me? He used to ask him, and he used to say yes. They used to tag him in stories and be like, hey, it's my birthday. Can you wish me happy birthday? And he used to say yes. He used to watch stories. He doesn't do that anymore because fans have gotten so toxic. It has gotten to a point where he doesn't feel comfortable being on social media because it's not good for his mental health. It's not good for mental health of fans either. Fans will speculate, fans will go through and do a bunch of stuff, and it gets to the point that it just leads down to a spiral path. There have been fans, because of the social media, that have tried to take their own life because they were being bullied in the fandom, which is also toxic. It's not okay. There are fans that think they're queen bee of the fandom, or king bee of the fandom, or just top fan, which that's not the case either. Celebrities see fans as, hey, They have paved my way. They've helped me get to where I need to be. This is how I know I'm a good, actor or a good singer or anything like that. For Sebastian Stan's case, how he knew he made it. He had a huge fan base, and it scares the living shit out of this man. Loves meeting fans, does not like to meet the crazy ones, and I'm gonna phrase it that way, because he knows who the stalkers are. Like, working as a journalist, you kind of get privy to certain things, especially when you have worked in the PR field and have worked with their publicists and have worked with their agents and have worked with their management team to find out who you can actually interview. There are lists that their publicist, their PR teams have for public relations of who they are allowed to interact with, who they are allowed to remain formal with, who they can be casual with, and who they trust. There are also lists of, these are the people that are stalking them. These are the people that have harassed them on Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, things of that nature. These are the people that have stalked them. They have everybody's names, IP addresses, things of that nature. You have to remember their PR team, their publicist, all that stuff, search this shit on a daily basis. That's what their publicists do. Their job of their publicist is to help them create a story, and if something is going to come out that is going to cause controversy, it's to help stop it. So if fans are causing issues, they know about it, guys. Like, I'm going to be completely real with you. In fandoms, especially toxic fandoms, their publicists know the names of all the toxic fans. Especially on social media. So if you stalk their favorite restaurant, if you stalk their favorite bar, just to meet them, they know who the fuck you are. Which is sad. Because they shouldn't have to live their life under a microscope, feeling that they can't go to their favorite places that they used to go when they didn't have this level of fame. They should be able to, outside of work, outside of a convention, which they, mind you, are getting paid for. It is a job commitment. Conventions are a job for them. And there are rules and terms and conditions that you have to abide by when you go to a convention. And most conventions, you do not get kicked out of unless the celebrity or the talent says, we do not want this person there. Fans do not, unless it is overtly sexual or overtly like you are breaking a law, it's very hard to get kicked out of a convention unless the talent says they no longer want that person there. Just FYI. I've watched it happen at a few different cons. So, I've watched it actually happen at concerts too. Like, I've had friends of mine in bands kick out fans because they know those fans are stalkers. Fans bought tickets, paid hundreds of dollars for fucking tickets to go to different cities, and got 86th at every show. Don't be that person. Don't cause the toxicity. And I can tell you, I've walked away. Like, I love Seb. I love Sebastian. I will support his roles that he does, except certain ones. Like, there's certain movies that I did not fully support. Like, your celebrities that you follow that you really like, you can support what they do. You don't have to support every decision they make. They're human too. They're gonna fuck up and make mistakes. Like, do I support Sebastian Stan in playing Trump in a movie? No. Am I gonna watch that movie? No. Like, let's be realistic. Do I support him in wanting to direct more and wanting to write more? Yes. Am I going to support him if he makes some stupid ass remark that might be dumb and like he maybe didn't think about it? Probably not. Like, we're all human and we make mistakes and things happen. Am I going to support him every step of the way? No. Have I supported him every step of the way so far? No. I mean, Pam and Tommy is another one. Like, there are things where, as a fan, you get to decide where you step off of the carousel of that fandom and where you take a stance and say, hey, I'm not going to support that actor. You don't have to be super vocal. Or you don't have to cancel that celebrity either. Like, I get if they stand against what you believe in, you can be vocal about it, but you don't have to say, down with this person needs to go away. Like, it's not about canceling people either, because that's toxic too. It shouldn't be, you should side with me or else. It should be, we should have a differing of opinions, and we should understand why. Because everybody has a differing of opinions. Opinions are like assholes. Everybody got one. Just saying. But realistically, like, I've stepped out of that fandom. I stepped out of that fandom in 2022, 2021. I want to say it's probably late 2021, where I have not been very active in that fandom because it had gotten so toxic where people were actually hating and stuff on each other. And it got to the point where people were bullying people in workout groups for that fandom because they were like, I need to be better than you. I need to be better than you. Everybody's on their own journey. Lay back, relax, chill out. Like, you don't need to be stressed about it. You don't need to compare yourself to other people either. Like, if somebody at a con, if you go to a con for your, like, say for example, Sebastian, right? Because we're talking about Sebastian, and you see somebody having 6 photo ops, but you only were able to afford 1. It's okay. It's okay for you to afford 1. If you see somebody that can go to 6 different conventions because they can afford it, and you can only afford 1, it's okay. If it's okay, you can only afford 1. You don't have to do things that are gonna break the fucking bank. You should not have thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars of debt to be able to see your favorite celebrities. Just saying. You should not put yourself into debt to be able to see your favorite celebrities. You should not have to take a second mortgage if you own your own home to see your favorite celebrities. I mean, realistically, you should do things that are going to make you happy and not have to go through a bunch of shit to be able to do that, right? So what I'm saying is, don't be that fan, okay? Don't expect them to bow down to you and do everything you ask, because they're human. They have boundaries and they can say no. No is a full sentence. You're not entitled to anything that they do. You're not entitled, let me repeat that again. You are not entitled to anything that they do. And you are not entitled to meet them at a convention. So if that celebrity cancels last minute at a convention, that celebrity cancels last minute at a convention. You are not entitled to their time, their patience at all, or them. If they decide to disappear out of the limelight, they decide to disappear out of the limelight. You are not entitled to them. Toxicity in fandom needs to become something different, and the fandoms need to change. Like, fans need to get their shit together. And I'm not seeing it more in the younger fans. I'm seeing it in fans that are over 21. Like, realistically, the fans that were causing a lot of this drama were not teenagers. They were fans that were over 21. They were fans that had some delusion that Sebastian was going to be with them. Don't live in Delululand, guys. Like, realistically, if you don't run in the same circles, you're probably not going to end up dating them. You have to run in the same circles. Don't live in the delusion. Yes, I know manifesting is a thing. I totally understand that. But you don't run in the same class. You don't run in the same circles. If you don't run in social circles specifically, and you treat them like they're a fucking animal in a cage, bye. Like, they're not a fucking zoo exhibit. They're human. They need to be treated like they're human. But that's the other thing, is like, these were all adults that didn't have the emotional intelligence, self-awareness, or self-management to realize that's not stuff they should be posting on social media, and they wanted to destroy his life because he would not give them the time of day. Which, people are dumb. People are dumb, which is neither here nor there. Like, some people need to just get checked mentally, because if you're stalking people or you live in a constant state of delusion, where being delusional is kind of up there with being psychotic. kind of if they're being stalkery, like stalking and obsessive, like obsessively obsessing over someone so much that you're stalking them and having that delusion that you're going to be with them. And that's it. That is a mental health issue. Go get it checked out. There are free options. I know the United States sucks for healthcare, but there are free options. Please go and take advantage of those, please. Because a lot of that is realistically a mental health issue. Toxicity in fandom is a mental health issue because a lot of it comes down to mental health issues. So I hope y'all enjoy this episode talking about Sebastian Stan in his toxic fandom. Next time, I am going to bring up Joseph Quinn's fandom and the toxic shit and the toxicity that goes on there, because that one is an up-and-coming fandom. Because Joseph just got his full branch out and whirlwind from Stranger Things. So we're going to talk about that. And now he's cast in Marvel. MCU fandom is gonna go a little bit crazy. So we'll talk about that. We'll talk about the toxicity and the shit that goes on in that fandom too. Because it's even worse than Sebastian's. So till next time, have a good day.